Hello everybody and welcome back to my ZAWA series. My name is Tinukin and it has been a while, hasn't it? The construction site behind me is the last thing we built on here and that has been a while ago, but lately I have been itching to get back to my city and to continue working on it. Before we do anything though, I wanted to check in on my lions because last time we said, well, there's a lot of space there. And maybe we could use a few more lions, and so I thought that maybe we could breed them up a little bit instead of going to catch more lions. And, well, okay, I'm going to have to confess something first. I recorded all of this before, but I forgot to press the record button, so the lioness is already pregnant. I did an entire bit, and it's her. She's pregnant. She has a little baby lion in her belly, so that's very nice. And yeah, I'm sorry about that. Seems like I'm a little bit rusty, but you take very good care of yourself now, and I'm going to check in on you a little bit later. And this guy is the lion daddy. Yeah, did you hear that? You're going to be a dad. Are you excited about that? Well, anyway, I'm going to leave them to it. I don't want to stress them out too much, so let's take a look at what I've planned for today. So the intro may have been a little bit of a hint about what's to come. We are here next to the old harbor, and that's what I want to work on today. So we built the walls of the old harbor a while ago on a stream together, and I did a lot of texturing, even underwater. Look at that. And I've also built the part up here. We have some stairs and some wheelchair accessible ramps here from which people can get down to the harbor area. And we have the occasional penguin spawning in the harbor, which is also really nice, I think. So instead of one big build, because the biggest part of this build is already finished, we're going to add several smaller things to this harbor. And then, of course, what's still missing is a lot of plants. You guys know that we always need tons of plants to decorate because we are going for that nice overgrown look. There's more penguins over here and a mean eagle. We don't want to get too close to him because he's territorial. So that's sometimes a bit dangerous, but I've also had turtles up here, which is quite cool. So you can see that I have put some fencing here underwater. I mean, it's great that we can waterlog that. It would be a pain without that. But that is because I wanted to put some swimming animals in here, but I didn't want them to escape. So I hope that this is not too visible. I basically want us to pretend that this doesn't exist, is what I'm saying. But what I think would be great is if we had some orcas living here in the harbor. I mean, I think, like, in theory, they could, like, just swim out to the ocean the entire time, but maybe they just like hanging out in here, who knows? So we're going to need to go orca catching, but before we can put any orcas in here, of course, we need to decorate. Because it would be a little bit dangerous, I guess, to do that with the orcas already in. So let me explain the vibe that I'm going for here. So you may have noticed that I've been calling this the Old Harbor, and that is because, like the historical town center that you can see behind me, this is a very old part of Toucan Bay. And in the past, this was the main harbor where all the ship traffic was coming and a lot of trade was done. But now it's too small and all the big ships are going somewhere else. So now this is mainly used for tourist purposes. So for one, of course, tourists like to come here for the historical value of the place. And then we probably also have some smaller ferry boats that come and bring new tourists to this place. So the first thing that I want to build here are two boats. One of them is one of those ferry boats that brings tourists. And the other one, I think, is a shipwreck that is at the bottom of the harbor. And we can't see anything down here. Let me turn on night vision. Yeah, we can see we have a lot of space here. And I think having a shipwreck down there would be quite cool. I don't know how well you would even be able to see it from up there. Probably not too much. But we will see about that. I will probably decorate it with some sea pickles so that it's easier to see. Before we do that though, I have some good news and some bad news. So the bad news is that I have been having some real trouble with replay mod and I just can't get it to work right now on the server. So unfortunately we won't have a nice replay with like sweeping camera motions and all that jazz. But the good news is there's someone I would like you to meet. Everyone, meet Tinukin! So TinoCam is going to be watching us build and record the entire thing. And so we can still have a time lapse and we can still use shaders for the time lapse. We just won't have like that nice rotating camera. However, for the part that we are recording here under the water, we need to make sure that neither I nor TinoCam drown. And originally, I actually made myself a ton of water breathing potions, but I don't think that will work very well with TinoCam. So I have asked around, and Fni has actually given me a conduit that I can use to make sure that we can breathe underwater. So let's see if I can remember how to set up a... So let's see if I can remember how to set up a conduit. I haven't done that in a long time, actually. There we go. So now that we got that done, before we get started, I have good news and bad news again. Yeah, I know. So the bad news is that I have a schematic for that rack under the water because I already built it and I know exactly what I want it to look like, but I placed it under water and yeah, I'm going to insert some footage here from without shaders, but basically you can see since there's already water in those places, it just recognizes those as the wrong block and everything is just red. And we can like hover over the things and see in the top right what kind of block we want to have there, but it's basically a little bit like solving a puzzle where all the pieces are white. The good news is though that I actually really enjoy tough puzzles, so let's see how well I can deal with that. So now it's finally time to jump into a time lapse. See you on the other side.
Hello! This is a warning that the following footage contains some flashing lights and nauseating waviness. So if you are sensitive to either of these, please skip the next minute of video. I would like to make it clear that this has nothing to do with my camera work and is instead due to the way the shaders behave underwater combined with the time-lapse effect. You have been warned.
Alright, so we have our two boats. We have the little ferry here, and it's really quite a small ferry. I was debating making it a little bit bigger, but actually the entire harbor is not that big, and it would have looked like it wouldn't have been able to like maneuver in here. Like if you look at it, like, yeah, it needs to get out of here as well, right? So that's why I made it this small. But I am quite happy with how it turned out, and we have some places for people to sit, so that is all nice and well. And then we have the shipwreck down there, which we can't see at all if night vision isn't turned on. But if you notice, we can actually see the conduit. And I think if we light it up a little bit with some sea pickles, then this is going to get better. And we are not done with the underwater area at all, by the way. I have this shulker box here, and I want to use it to decorate down there. So I have all kinds of the ZAWA anemones and sea urchins, and some of the corals, and yeah, I like those a lot. And we also have some of the plants. And I brought some more gravel and also the soapstone. The soapstone, I think, looks very much like some volcanic rock. And I think corals like that a lot to cling on to. So let's do some decorating down here. And down here you can see that the ferry is very green down here. That's just because there's lots of algae stuck to it. I wish I could add some of the ZAWA corals to the side of it, but I can't, unfortunately. I can add some of the vanilla corals, so maybe I'm going to do that. I don't know. But let's start with the other boat first. So, of course, I want to add some sea pickles for visibility reasons. And you can see that I left out some half slabs here, just so that I am able to put some plants here, actually. So that's the only reason for that. So I'm just doing a quick check from up here and see, like, as soon as we light it up, we start to be able to see it down there. So I think that's going to look so cool when it's done. Okay, I think that's pretty nice. And it's actually night right now, which means that the only light we have is coming from the sea pickles. And that makes it look even cooler, I think. I love it a lot. So the next step is that we're going to take our soapstone and make some piles. And then these piles are also going to be decorated with corals. Corals don't really grow on sand because there they don't have a lot to hold on to. So that makes it hard for them to grow. Alright, now I just need to add some corals and plants and then we're done with our underwater world. Okay, this looks nice, I think. So we have the boulders with the corals on it, and then I added some patches of sea urchins because they are not attached to anything. They like to wander around. And then we have some clusters of plants on the gravel mounds. And it seems like it's so nice that some turtles spawned in here. And even some corridors. What are you doing here? This is the sea. You're a freshwater fish. You don't belong here. Anyway, so I think I can now take down the conduit and then it's time that we get the real inhabitants of our harbor. So this is what it looks like at night. And if we ignore those grotesque creatures over there, I think this looks so beautiful. I love it. Yeah, I think this is a really great place for our orcas to live in. So I found a pot of orcas, and to be honest, I don't really know how best to catch them. I know you need those nets, and now I think I just have to test it, or maybe I should name tag them first so that they don't despawn before I can catch them. Alright, just don't hit them by accident. Where did they go? Here's one. Come on, let me name tag you. Yeah. And there's one. And this one too. Okay. You guys are swimming around pretty fast. How am I going to catch you? If I just place some nets here? Are you going? Yes! Okay, number one caught. Are you just going to swim inside my nets too? No, probably not, right? Can you go over there? Okay. Yes. That's a lot easier than I thought it would be. Now let's just catch up with the third guy again. Okay, hello. Out here in the open water, it's kind of tough for me to catch you. Yeah, if you would come over here, please, sir. Over here, yes. Wow, he went right in. As if he did it on purpose. He probably knows that I built such a nice place in the old harbor and just wants to live there. Huh, I really thought this would have been tougher, but I'm not complaining. Now, I guess I will release them just by placing them. Oh, voila, there you go. And number 3. Ah, wonderful. Do you like it here, guys? Well, they're swimming around quite happily. Oh, that guy is disappearing and reappearing. But I would say overall this is a success. We have some orcas in our harbor. I really need to figure out if I can increase the render distance for entities though. And without night vision, we just have some very creepy shadows down there. They're checking out the boat. Orcas are quite curious creatures, so I can imagine them doing that. So now that we've dealt with down there, I think we should take care of up here. And first, I think we should do the arrival area for the visitors that come with the ferry. So I've got this thing here, and yeah, it's hard to make a slight slope in Minecraft, you guys all know that, so I'm just gonna, well, not like that, definitely not like that. I'm gonna make something like this here, so that we have kind of a stairway. Yeah, that's better. Then we need some more fences, just so that people don't like fall in immediately, because there's going to be like maybe some crowding issues here. And tickets need to be checked and all that jazz. And then I think we need some kind of info board where people can see like the arrivals and departures and other informations about the city. And yeah, I'm just gonna use smooth quartz for that, even though it looks a little bit too clean for us, but I think that's fine. I can I can add some vines to it or something like that if that helps. And then what do we add to this? Well, some item frames. Then some of them will have like some empty piece of paper in it, just like it looks like there's like a note here. And then, of course, the Toucan Bay map, so people know where they are in case they didn't know. And also just because I've been needing a place to put that, I haven't put that up anywhere yet, so here we go. This is the perfect place for it. So now we still have a lot of space here, and I've been wondering, like, what do you get in a place where lots of tourists arrive? Well, lots of people trying to sell them something, of course. So we need some market stalls that sell, like, all that random stuff that you get sold when you're a tourist somewhere. So the way I've prototyped them in my creative world is that I am making the sidewalls out of trapdoors, like this. Same on the other side. And then the front will be the good old upside down stairs. And then some colorful wool on the top. Alright, so this is what I thought they would look like. This one is completely intact, of course, so I'm going to need to do something about that. But I think I'm going to whip up a couple more of those off screen, and then I'll be right back with you. So we're kind of being invaded by turtles right now, but I am excited to show you I did a bunch of these market stalls, and some of them even have some stuff in it. So this one has like some bowls here that once held some of the merchandise. And this one over there is used to be a milkshake place. So I've used these beds as like milkshakes. And of course, all the market stalls are at different levels of decay, and I used some banners to make it look kind of like tatters, like the tarps are ripped and some things are hanging down, and I think the effect is quite good. But now I am really excited to reveal something else that I have been working on in secret. So I have this stall which used to sell newspapers and magazines, and I've actually prepared a newspaper for our town, which adds just like a tiny little bit of lore. And yeah, I think there's nothing else left for me to do but to reveal it. So here we go. Oh, I can't get it in there. Let's put one here first. So we've got the Toucan Bay post, which is mentioning some things about there being some trouble and also about a priest getting into some issues. So yeah, that's just something that I came up with, and I made a whole map art to create this newspaper for it. So I think I can get in here through the banner, and let's put this one there. Right, so this is just a tiny little hint about what is going on in this place. So next I want to take care of this space up here, and it's kind of like an empty space in a bit of an awkward shape, and I've been wondering what to do about it. And yeah, as you can see, I found what I want to do with it. But let me tell you my thinking. So I was wondering what else are things that we can find in like an old harbor area. And I thought, well, usually there are some like historic artifacts that are like maybe not in the place anymore where they used to be, but they're still like being kept for educational reasons and just like because they're really cool. And so I thought that I wanted to make an old harbor crane. And yeah, from up here, of course, it's not going to reach the ships down there, so I'm guessing like at one point it was positioned somewhere down there. But when it was not in use anymore and getting in the way, they moved it up here so that people can look at how this harbor used to be run long time ago. So since I'm not an expert on cranes, I had a look around the internet to see what they would look like, and I found one from northern Germany that I think could work well here. So it's got this circular shape made out of dark wood. So let's start with that. And just for some texture, I brought some of this dirt as well, which has like kind of like exactly the same color as the amber wood. So I think that works well. So I'm gonna put these windows in because I think they look good. And I forgot to bring a door, so I'll take care of that later. So basically on top of this circular bottom part, it has like a dark roof that's kind of like flat. Okay, so that's the roof, and then in the middle of the roof is this thing where the thing comes out that the top part is attached to. And don't ask me how this works. I have no idea. But basically we have this little quadratic part on top where the arm of the crane comes out. So basically that's gonna be the arm. And I forgot to do some texturing. Never forget the texturing. It's very important. Okay, so let's attach some chains to the arm. Nice. And now there's another tiny little roof part here on the top. And our harbor crane is done. So the only thing we need now is some kind of sign that tells us what this is. Perfect. Okay, here you can see it in some better light. Now let's put in the door. And I want to spruce up the base a little bit, and by spruce up, I mean make it look more broken and dirty. So the opposite of spruce up, I guess. All right, that's much better. Okay, you guys know what's coming next. We need to cover this entire area in plants. But first I want to talk about some things, mainly the trees. So I really like the palm trees from the Biomes ZAWA mod, but I'm not quite sure. So the thing is, they're not that big usually, and they always kind of grow in different directions. So this one is actually quite good because I'd like the trees to be leaning like towards the water. But I guess if I try to look at those penguins next to the turtle. I love that. I actually decided that I want to put name tags on the penguins that spawn on here. I don't know if they're eventually going to wander off, but I kind of like the idea of lots of little penguins walking around the old market stalls. I think that's quite funny. Anyway, back to the trees. So if I plant another one here, which direction is that going to grow in? Well, I guess it's not that bad, but maybe I will also add a few custom-made palm trees just so I can make them a little bit bigger, you know, like make some a little bit taller, because I don't think they're going to grow much bigger than that. Excuse me, could I entice you to go over there? Thanks. Yeah, so that one definitely goes in the wrong direction in my opinion. So I'd rather that one just like lean over there. So I'm gonna be changing that. But I think for me working on all the trees and adding all the plants, we're going to need TinoCam's help again. Perfect, let's go! Isn't it crazy what a huge difference the plants make every time? This entire place is totally transformed, and look at how many penguins I have. There's more back there. I just kept collecting them, name tagging them, and now I have a ton of penguins here and I love it, and I hope they won't wander off too much. But otherwise I'm just gonna get out the leads and lead some penguins around. But actually, when I was building these market stalls, there's something very important that I forgot, and that is that our very own Chili Cookie has made some really nice things. Particularly, I'm talking about the ice cream stall and the hot dog stall. So let's buy one of each and place them around here. So there's the hot dog stall, and well, it's looking very nice and glossy, but let's just imagine that this is a very high quality hot dog stall, and that's why it held up so well, even after years of neglect. So now we just need to place the ice cream stall somewhere. Maybe here. Perfect. I really love how this turned out. During the time-lapse, maybe you've seen me struggling a bit with the trees. I tried growing the trees from saplings at first, but they just wouldn't grow in the right direction. And also, I'm not really sure what's up with most of them coming out with two different heads, because that's not really how palm trees grow, as far as I know. But now, after I did the trees manually, I think they turned out fine. Now there's one last thing that I want to do, and that is check up on the lions again and see how our pregnant lioness is doing. So is that you? Okay, you are still pregnant, but you are doing very well. So unfortunately, there is no timer for us to see how far along she is. And well, this area hasn't been loaded a lot during the time that I built way over there. And so I don't really know. It's possible that we have to wait a long time until she finally gives birth, and so I think I'm going to check in on her in the next episode. But anyway, that is all for today. As always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please consider leaving a like if you did, or subscribing if you haven't already. And I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye bye!